Wholesaling is very simple, but it is not easy. We literally have 17 deals going on right now between wholesale deals and flips and stuff like that. I couldn't imagine, I could imagine it happening, but like I couldn't imagine the feeling of what that would be like 3 years ago. Cause I was just like, I could barely even get a deal. You know what I mean? But what nobody sees is all the work that has been done in the past 3 years, like the 14-hour days, the 18-hour days, the 6 months with no deals sometimes. You know what I mean? Like it's very realistic. It was just like me getting up every single morning saying, yo, no matter what, I'm going to make this happen. Like, I don't care. There's been peaks, there's been valleys, there have been all the things. It's really taking like a lot of work and energy to build that skill that allowed me to like, put that skill into a process and then build a team around that skill. It's really all it is. But like I said, let's just say I was doing something else when I first started my wholesaling business. We talked about that before. I'm not going to dig into it. Like I was doing something else, which took a decent amount of my time. And I was doing maybe a deal every 6 to 8 weeks or something like that. And it was cool making like 20 grand a deal. But bro, it was not worth it. It's like I had overhead. I was working my butt off. Like for the amount of time that I was spending on it, it was not worth it until I really like tripled down and I was just like, all right, I'm focusing no matter what. I'm getting a team, I'm getting a partner, I'm doing all the things. That's when it started to be worth it. That's when all of a sudden I started doing like 3 deals a month consistently, like boom, boom, boom. And then it was all of a sudden it was like, all right, now I got a team under me. Now I got people following up for me. Now I don't have to talk to every single seller. All right, this is now starting to be worth it. But in the beginning, bro, like I never really like got to the point where I'm like, all right, I'm quitting. But I'll tell you, there were doubts in my mind where I was just like, damn, am I doing the right thing? Why the heck am I doing this? And that's with anything, bro. Any business, like you go through that. But wholesaling is very simple, but it is not easy.
Was this out of your area in Boston, or was this somewhere else?
Yep, this is in Boston. With that also being said, too, it is a little bit harder up here to get started because there aren't as many deals. There aren't as many cash transactions as there are in a market like Florida or something like that. So it is easier to get started in other markets for sure. The thing up here though is like the fees that you get on your properties are freaking insane. I literally just signed an assignment agreement today for $100,000. Like this is the craziest thing ever. All I did was have a relationship with my contractor who went out to this property because the lead was referred to him. He went out to the property. He was like, it's way too big of a project for me. I don't have room in my work schedule right now to get that done. Mike, can you go over and talk to the seller and maybe help her out? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I literally go over there for 30 minutes, have a 30-minute conversation with her, get her under contract. And a week later, we have a buyer in place that's going to make us 100 grand with our partner. We'll probably make, after we're going to split some of it with our contractor and the other partner and stuff like that. We'll probably walk away with like 45K or something. But still, that is crazy for having like a 30-minute conversation. However, what people don't see is all the work that happened before that of like me building the relationship with that contractor, me sending that contractor a bunch of deals and leads and work and all that stuff and how much work that actually took. You see what I mean? So that the concept behind it is so simple and it's so mind blowing. And it gets people to think like, wait, oh my gosh, why am I not doing this? It makes no sense. Like I have to be doing this. All I have to do is talk to somebody, get them under contract and sell the contract. And I can make 30 grand in 30 days. Like, why am I not doing that? Sounds really sweet until you get into the trenches and you're like, this is what happens. Until you talk to your first seller and they tell you to go F off. And you're like, why the heck am I doing this? But you just got to keep on being persistent, keep on being persistent. But dude, like Paul, you're a hustler, bro. You're going to be able to build it and make it work if you want.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. Just trying to learn everything.
What do you want to know? You want to know how to start the wholesaling business?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I know, like I said, we didn't get to talk much, but you talked about wholesaling. So that's what kind of caught my attention with it. So yeah, just how to start it, how to do all that, how to, get started.
The problem with real estate, there's so many different ways to do real estate and be in the real estate game. But like I was talking about the top like 3 or 4, I said wholesaling, fixing and flipping, buy and hold, right? The top three, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like three main branches of kind of investing in real estate, I would say. And wholesaling really isn't even investing, I would say. It's more of just building a business. Out of all three, let's just say you end up picking wholesaling. When you pick wholesaling as the thing that you want to tackle, there's actually a bunch of different branches off of wholesaling as well. Like there's many different types of ways to wholesale, right? So for us, our strategy is called acquisitions, meaning we are going to go acquire all the contracts. We're going to build a team around marketing to these people that could potentially be interested in selling. And we're just going to be the house that gets all the contracts. So we're going to be like a conveyor belt of contracts, right? So there's that. And then there's the other part where you have to go find a buyer, right? So once you go get the contract, and by the way, when you decide like that's the strategy that you want to go, you want to be the person that goes out and finds all the contracts, you then have to figure out what strategy you want to do for finding the contracts, because there's like an infinite amount of ways to do that. You can go out and you can go door knock people, you can cold call people, you can text people, you can do something expensive like direct mail, or get on TV ads, or like pay for some sort of digital marketing like PPC or YouTube ads or something like that. You see what I mean? But essentially, you got to figure out your marketing strategy. Let's think about this, right? Like you have, let's just say you pick wholesaling as the hub. That's the thing that you want to do. Branch here, and that's direct to seller wholesaling. That's like marketing directly to people. That's what I was just talking about. Now that's here. Out of that, you now have a bunch of different strategies on how to go about doing the direct to seller, right? Like I was just saying, you can cold call people, you can text people, you can door knock people. All those individual strategies are legitimate, like individual businesses alone. Does that make sense? So they all have different systems and processes and different hats that need to be worn in those departments. They all are different. They all serve the same function. They all go to, get this contract that we need up here, but there's just a different way to go about it. The way you figure out which way you want to go about it is by figuring out what you have access to for time and what you have access to for money, and also what your skill set is already, right? So if you are very skilled and you don't have much time, but you have a lot of money to work with, you're probably going to do some more of the expensive marketing like PPC and Facebook ads and stuff like that. That's probably where you're going to land. If you have absolutely no money and all the time in the world, you're probably going to do something like door knocking because it's pretty much free. You see what I mean? So you got to figure out where you're at in the process. If you're going to do something like, hey, like let's just say for me, for example, in the beginning, I had a decent amount of time and I had some money to play with. Let me, work on building my skill set because I was not skilled. Let me do that. Let me dump a little bit of money into a team that can generate me leads through calling people, and let me get good at talking to sellers by following up with those people. And that's what I did. And that's what built my business and my skill set. Right. So there's that. You just got to like kind of figure out where you want to go. And I'm going to send you a video of me breaking all this stuff down on YouTube. Once you have that in place, right? Once you have an idea of what you want to do, let's just say is that, then you just simply need a blueprint on how to do that. If you're going to pick cold calling and texting, we use virtual assistants to do this. So we hire people that are in the Philippines that do all the cold calling and texting for us. What softwares do I need? What systems do I need to put in place? What scripts do I need them to say? All that stuff. That's literally like a package that you could pay somebody to give you, and you just follow it step by step. Here's the wholesaling part, right? And then we talked about going direct to seller and all these different strategies. Pretty much you just pick one, find somebody who has a blueprint on how to do that, and pay for it, get the training, get the modules on, step by steps on how to do it, and go and tackle it and take action. Same thing with what I'm about to say right now too. Let's just say you're this guy, you're the guy now. Let's think about it. There's two different parts of the transaction, right? There's finding the contract, but then you also have to find the buyer, right? So people build businesses based off of mainly just finding the contract. And then people build businesses off of mainly just being the one who finds the buyer. You see what I mean? And there's systems and processes for all of them. So you just got to figure out what you want. I personally don't like being the guy talking to the buyers. It's just not for me. Like I don't like people telling me, oh no, this price is too high or the floors are like this. Or I'm like, bro, whatever. It's either you're gonna buy the deal or not. So I'm like, I don't like talking to the buyers. I like negotiating the price and stuff with the sellers and solving the seller's problem and doing all that type of stuff. But if you pick this branch, right, of wholesaling where you are the person finding the buyer, then it's the same exact thing. You just figure out a system and process on how to go talk to all these buyers. And there are a bunch of different strategies you could do for that. You can go on Facebook and look them all up and DM them. You can skip trace them and call them and have a conversation with them and put them all on a list. And then what you do is you're pretty much the guy that has all the buyers. So you go to this guy who has all the contracts and you go hang out with him and you be buddies with him. And he sends you all his contracts because you have all the buyers, because he's busy getting all the contracts. He doesn't want to go find the buyers. You see what I mean? So
Yeah.
for my business, I'm this guy. I'm the guy that goes out and finds all the contracts. And then I partner up with people who have all the buyers already. And I simply get people under contract and I just dish it out to those people who have the buyers, because they've been doing that for years, because they have all the buyers in the area. And it's like they put out a deal and thing gets sold in like a day because they have so many people and they have such a good presence in the marketplace. So it's just kind of figuring out which strategy you want to tackle.